Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing? Mike is muted. Thank you so much for coming in. I was going to make this a video, but y'all, life happens and I don't have the energy to record a video, edit it, and put it up. So I thought I'd just pop on really quick and do a quick live stream and we can get back to our lives. How does that sound? How's everybody doing? Welcome in. Welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for coming in. Please like and share. Okay, so let me just do a quick share. Oops, share out. And y'all, how's it been going? I know I wasn't live on Friday, but you know what? We'll catch up. We'll catch up. Y'all, um, y'all, Elon Musk is trying to buy Twitter, and I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts about the whole thing. And so I thought I would come on and we could talk about it. We could talk about what it means for us as individuals, what it means for democracy, and what it means for the entire world. So we're gonna have a quick chat and then we're gonna get out of here and get back to our lives because like we have lives we need to get back to on top of all of these things. So of course, all of us are going to have personal feelings about what Twitter means to us based on how we use the app. And I have those feelings, and I think those are relevant. But I'm the kind of person. Wait, House of X? Did I say hey? Did I say what's up? Did I say welcome in? Did I say thanks for coming? Hey, what's up? Welcome in. Thanks for coming. Okay, so all of us will have our personal feelings, right? We all have our personal feelings about it. But I'm the kind of person who likes to look at the bigger picture. So I thought we could do that. We could do that together. So anyways, y'all, let's talk about this. First, I want to talk about what kind of place is Twitter? What is Twitter like? What happens on Twitter and all of that, right? So I don't know if you've noticed at all, but like a lot of the time news channels actually get their news from Twitter. Like you'll be watching CNN and they'll be reporting on things that happen on Twitter. So Twitter is a very important place. Like a lot of discourse happens on Twitter. And a lot of people oh wait, I didn't tell you. I just assumed everybody knew what was going on. So in case you didn't know, or somehow you didn't know, but Elon Musk has been trying to buy Twitter, okay? Twitter is not like wildly profitable. There's no business reason why Elon Musk should be trying to buy Twitter right now. Not only is Elon trying to buy Twitter, but the way he's going about it is really giving us movie villain. So the first thing he did was he very quietly got a big share of Twitter. So he very quietly bought the shares. So he had a big share of Twitter. And then when he had the largest percentage of shares out of anybody, he then offered to buy the company. And then that kind of fell through and it was real shady. We're like, what is going on, right? And so we're like, okay, he's not going to buy Twitter. And then we found out yesterday that he's making a deal to buy Twitter for almost 50 billion with a B. And it's not so Twitter can make him money, right? It's because he claims to be concerned about free speech and protecting free speech. Like, what do you mean by that? You know, a lot of the people that are protecting free speech, they just want to find a way to harass, oppress, and continue to marginalize people. They want to say whatever they want about women, um, and other marginalized groups, women, LGBTQIA community, um, black people. They want to just freely be able to just say whatever they want, right? So okay, so that's what they're talking about. So Elon Musk is claiming he wants to buy Twitter to protect free speech. Okay. Like, we're not going to delve into that, right? Because that's not what I want to talk about today. He's also, so he slowly bought the shares, and he's paying over the market price for the shares. Excuse me. So when he started buying the shares, they were about maybe like $30. And right now um he is offering like $54 a share, which is just like insane, out of this world, like wild. And the board doesn't really have a choice because they have zero financial reason for not making all this profit. um so the board has basically like accepted his bid, and now I guess they have to take it to the shareholders before it gets final. Okay, so that's state that's like where we are, supposedly, right? I don't know so much about business and all of those things, but yo, $50 billion. He doesn't have $50 billion. Supposedly, he's like, well, he doesn't have $50 billion in cash to just be like, go to his bank, take $50 billion, and give them $50 billion. But supposedly he's taking out a loan. But yo, I am suspicious, not just because of who he is, but because of when in time he is actually buying this. Look at what has been going on in the world right now. Okay, look at what has been going on in the world. um so before we even like go all this, I wanted to share a few different things with y'all. There's a lot, there is so much going on, right? So I wanted to share a few different things with y'all. Let me just pull it up on screen so y'all can see. um okay, so basically, like, I want to talk about where we are in the world right now, and then I want to talk about also what Twitter has been used for. So let's go back to what Twitter has been used for. In the past, Twitter has been used to organize, okay? To organize unions and to advocate and to influence culture. Um we cannot minimize the effect Twitter has on culture and on global politics. Twitter, we cannot believe that we would have had the Arab Spring without Twitter. A lot of the protests happening all over the world in the past 20 years or so happened because of Twitter. Um, the Me Too movement started on Twitter. A lot of movements can trace their origin back to Twitter. That is where they started. And if Twitter has a lot of restrictions, a lot of people are afraid that Twitter will become the cesspool that Facebook became in 2016. And I mean, let's face it, most people have left Facebook because of the rampant manipulation that has happened there. And so it is really telling that now, when the US is about to have another election, when there's a war going on in Ukraine, this is when, all out of the blue, Elon Musk wants to buy Twitter. That is very telling. And we don't know what his end game is. The question I have is, what is his end game, right? Because right now on Twitter is a place where you can have conversations with the people in government. You can have conversations with people in politics. People can share what is going on around the world. A lot of what we know about the war in Ukraine, we would not really know it without Twitter in real time. We would have to wait until Anderson Cooper got in his little plane and went over there to have a lot of these reporting if we did not have Twitter. Instagram is not the same. Instagram shadow bans like nobody business. Does Twitter shadow ban too? Yes, but not as much as Twitter. And also, we can all agree that Twitter is more left leaning because of the majority of its users are left leaning. So right now we're about to elections in the US are about to go into hyperdrive. This is where people organize. This is where people get the people out. Say what you want about AOC and the rest of the squad. Do we think they would be in Congress today without Twitter? So that is what's going on, right? So we're going to come back to this, okay? We're going to come back to this. Right now, yesterday I saw a lot of people saying they were leaving Twitter, but a lot of them didn't even really delete their account. They like deactivated it. But then I saw a lot of people saying they were losing followers. So an important part of this is is who can and cannot leave Twitter. A lot of people depend on Twitter for their livelihood, to promote their businesses, but also a lot of people have built community on Twitter. And the thing that will prevent us from being completely oppressed, the thing that will allow us to continue to work towards liberation, towards freedom for all, towards freedom for marginalized communities, is community. And Twitter allows us to build community. Twitter allows us to find people with similar interests in similar situations and work with them towards a greater good, towards a more free and a more just society. And those are some of the things they do not want, okay? So yes, we're going to come back, but then y'all, just the idea of who is leaving Twitter and what exactly is going on since this was announced yesterday, it's real fishy, and we're going to come to that at the end of my little talk. Thank you so much for everybody who've joined us so far. I will come back to the chat real soon, but let's keep going. So okay, so we have a lot going on in the world right now. We have a global push for a more free and just society. We have climate change being on the brink. We have a lot of those things happening. And in the US, we have a lot of rights being taken away right now. We have a push against voter rights. We have, while the media was focused on the Florida governor's little war with Disney and what that meant over his Don't Say Gay bill, while that was going on, in Florida they redistricted, and they redistricted in such a way that 2 black Congress people will no longer have districts. They just disenfranchised a whole bunch of black people in Florida. And if that new district map holds up, a lot of people will be disenfranchised in Florida. That is going on across the country. Across the country, we have laws targeting LGBTQIA youth, particularly, basically trying to legislate them out of existence. We have laws across the US. About 30 something states right now are trying to push laws to basically ban abortion. And we also have the war on critical race theory, where they're using the idea, y'all have heard it. They're basically banning a whole bunch of books in a whole bunch of schools across the country, down to where they're banning math books. They're stoking fear, tension, and dissent in society so they can continue to control people. And that is what is going. And the reason, now, it's easy to see this and become discouraged, but the reason why they are actually pushing back so hard is this is backlash against the progress we have been making. It's hard to see how much progress has been made when in so many ways it feels like we're being pushed back, way back into the Jim Crow era, into the 60s, because that is where they want to go. They want to go actually even further. All of these laws you're hearing from all of these different places are being pushed and supported by a very same group of people on the right wing in the US. And the thing y'all need to know is that they are pushing those laws globally. They are pushing for those kinds of laws globally. But we won't really touch on that so much. We'll come back to that. So they are pushing those laws because they do not want progress. They want to take us back to when gay marriage was illegal, to when interracial marriage was illegal. Heck, we have this guy running for whatever office in Michigan that says he's offended because he can't watch a basketball game without seeing a family that's not a white family. He's like, a real anything that's not a white dad, a white mom, and white kids is not a family. Like what exactly are they trying to say? They're trying to legislate us out of existence. That's what they're trying to do. And the way we fight back about that is through information and through community. And that is the real reason Elon Musk wants to buy Twitter, because right now Twitter is the most effective way we fight against misinformation, and we fight against and we build community. Is Twitter doing a great job at it? Most people will tell you they're not doing the best, because they have people on there that flashing the N-word, calling people the N-word, and the accounts stay up and up and up, and these people just abuse you and call you all sorts of names, and the accounts stay up. But they are doing the best job out of the other social media companies fighting misinformation. So that's why he wants to buy it. He wants to take it away from a publicly traded company, make it a private company, so he's answerable to no one. Okay? That's what's going on. But that doesn't mean that we should lose hope, because y'all, going back to why they're fighting and the backlash is against progress. The fact is, even though there's a movement, especially on Twitter, to be like, Biden hasn't done anything, Biden's administration hasn't done anything, there are a lot of things that have been done without even being reported on in the news, without being made a big deal out of on Twitter, without even people generally noticing. Okay, Biden has slowly filled almost all of the federal judge seats, the benches of federal judges. There was like a whole bunch of federal judge seats that was open, and they were not feeling it. Trump didn't feel it, because when he didn't feel it, that creates a backlog and things slow down and things don't happen. Biden has been slowly filling those up, and a lot of them are Black women. Now, always remember that I always tell you, not no one, but people hate to see Black women win. A lot of people hate to see Black women win. And from picking a Black woman as a vice president, Biden has slowly, incrementally been repeatedly choosing Black women. So he's been filling those seats on the federal bench with Black women. And slowly, they've been chipping away at the backlog of cases. That has been happening. Then another big one that happened that people didn't make a big deal out of, Biden chose a Black woman for executive director of the OMB. He didn't feel it right away. He took his time. and he put a black woman there, a black woman who had been working on the House Appropriations staff prior to this. If you don't know what the OMB does, the OMB is the Office of Management and Budget, and they basically write the budget. Like, they don't do it by themselves, but like OMB is who gets things done. And that's a big deal. It's not as big deal as the Supreme Court justice. I don't have to point that one out. We all know what happened because it's not a lifetime appointment. But it's a big deal that he chose a black woman to head up the OMB, because the head of OMB is who makes things happen. Of course, they have a staff. They work with the House Appropriations Committee. They work with the Senate, but they make things happen. And talking about making things happen, Biden got at home test yourself COVID tests to as many households as possible. And in the implementation of getting those free tests to households in the US, what people don't notice, but trust me, the right-wing people notice, is that in the implementation of that, the Biden administration was listening to people. They first came out with the free test and they said, you can get the test by going to the website. And people were like, websites not, everyone has internet. And they were like, oh, but you can also use this phone call. And people were like, not everyone can make phone calls. And they were like, you know what? You can go to your public library and you can get the test there. And they're listening. They're flexible. They're listening to their constituents, and they're changing. They're modifying the policies so they can meet the needs. Y'all, if Republicans had even given the test, they would have means tested it. Means testing means they would have said you can get this many tests based on your household income, how many people in your household, you can get different amounts of tests. They would need to put a system in place to check how many people were in your household. What system would that be? Then it would take forever to get the system in. Was this the best way? No, this was the fastest way. Everybody got the same amount. Let me tell you, anything that you want to get done fast, you cannot means test it. You just have to be like, everybody gets the same amount. Because what happens when they means test things is that usually the rich folks get the most. They try to make it seem like they're means testing so those who need it the most will get it, but that's not what usually happens, okay? Anyway, so they did that. Then there's the free masks. You can go online, you can get free masks. But you don't just have to go online. You can call a phone number, but you don't just have to do this. You can go to various pharmacies in your community and they'll give you free masks. You can go to your library, they'll give you free masks, free N95 masks. If that had been done in late 2020, where would we be now? Probably out there not having super spreader events, but probably this after everybody came back from Coachella, they wouldn't have caught COVID. But that's another topic. But it's simple things like that. You know what else happened that people didn't make a big deal out of, but is a huge deal? They got the credit reporting agencies to take medical debt off of. They got the credit reporting agencies to take medical debt off of the credit report. Do y'all know what that even means? For those of you who don't know, one major life issue, one major illness can take you out for the rest of your life. Even if you have insurance, you can hit the maximum under your insurance, and then you'll be on the hook for all of that. And you've just spent months in the hospital. You have hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. You have to pay for all of your medical things after that because you've hit your maximum. So you have to pay for it out of pocket. You have no money and you're too sick to work. And because your credit is now trashed, you cannot buy a new car if you need it. You cannot get housing. What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to survive? So a simple thing like taking it off the credit report means that people with medical debt now have a better opportunity to do things like get housing or get access to transportation, get access to things they need to survive. Or maybe they can just get an old Navy cat and buy some clothes. Those are all things that have happened. And those are all little things that the media didn't really report about, that they did not want to happen. Okay? And those are things, those are all progress. Now let's talk. So now we know progress has happened, things has happened that the elite and the right and these people did not want to happen, right? They don't want black women to win, they don't want us to progress, they don't want marginalized groups to exist, they don't want them to have access, they don't want them to be upwardly mobile. So why now? If we go back to the first slide, right, we see that people are about to start organizing on Twitter. Political organizing happens on Twitter. People are about to start giving out campaign information on Twitter. People are about to start correcting misinformation on Twitter. People are about to start raising funds for finances, and campaigning happens on Twitter, right? And so I see two things, right? Yes, eventually when Elon Musk takes over, this might stop. But right now, because people have decided, and especially people on the left have decided that Twitter is no longer safe for them, they have left. They have just walked away, just given up for the battleground. And I don't blame anybody for leaving, you know. I don't blame anybody for protecting their peace, protecting their space. But I think this is what the move was. I tweeted, someone talked about losing followers, and I said, what if that was the not necessarily the end game, but the first stage, you know? What if just the fact that Elon has bought Twitter means people will leave, and people will no longer have access to that place where they can share information, debunk myths, debunk misinformations, and build community? What if he simply bought it so it would no longer function as it does? That's one. Then moving on, what if he now allows changes the policies, so like things like Trump being banned comes back? He comes back, he's no longer banned. What if they stop the very few security measures they have in place to protect marginalized groups? What if that happens? Where will we go? Yesterday we saw the brief, everybody saying they're moving to Counter Social, and then they realized that the owner of Counter Social is actually racist. And people talking about that on Counter Social actually got banned on Counter Social. So there was a lot of us creating accounts and deleting it within hours of each other, because Counter Social is not a safe place for marginalized group. Where will we go? Wherever we go, whatever we build, it will even if everybody left Twitter and went somewhere else, it would take a while to build it up to what Twitter is today, because Twitter is a powerful force. So I see this as having a short-term effect of diluting the strength that organizing groups have created on Twitter, destroying the community that marginalized people have created on Twitter, but also the long-term effects of brainstorm, the long-term effects of destroying democracy as we know it, but also global stability. Because a lot of Americans especially can only think in terms of the US. But Twitter is a worldwide platform, and Twitter is used worldwide for people to organize and advocate for themselves. A lot of us in the global south, a lot of the rest of the world, the only way people know about the things that negatively affect us is through Twitter. Y'all remember when the farmers went on strike in India? A lot of people only knew about that because of Twitter and to a lesser extent Instagram. And we can't go on Instagram since the other villain of the world bought Instagram. Instagram has gone to shit. I mean, it wasn't great before, but like we were building community. A lot of the communities that were built on Instagram have fallen apart. When I go on Instagram, especially since they did reels, people aren't building community and connecting with each other like they used to on Instagram. It's just like everybody's just selling you something. Sell, 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 sell. It's like Instagram has become the mall. So what are we really talking about, you know? So I feel as though that's what's going on. Where will we go from here, y'all? I don't have any idea. I'm on Fanbase. Eventually I'll start putting the Fanbase link. I'll see if it grows. Fanbase is a black owned app. It's kind of like Twitter. It's mostly the user interface is like Instagram, but they've been doing some stuff that's like Twitter Spaces. But I see that also a lot of people are dedicated to staying on Twitter, to seeing what happens, but also to fight for the space that we have built. People have built Twitter to what it is today, and a lot of people are not willing to just leave that because Elon Musk feels he wants to be a villain and he wants to have all the things because he has all the money. But also, y'all remember how everybody, well, not everybody, but y'all know certain people, mostly an orange person, was pushing to find out about Barack Obama's birth certificate and all of stuff like that. I want to know who is backing Elon Musk. Who? Because I want to know why he's doing this and who he has allied himself with. I don't think he's just doing this alone, right? I think it's especially telling given the global climate and all of the different things happening all over the world, not just in Ukraine, but in Africa, in the Middle East, that this is when he wants to buy it. Because what we've seen is a lot of the bots and all of the misinformation, their power has been reducing over the past few months. They have been reducing power and they need a way to get back that power to push out the misinformation so that they can continue to oppress. We have the royal family being totally outed on Twitter, among other things, because they're just trash. And there's no way really for those who have traditionally held the reins of power to push back against the volume of debunking of misinformation, against the volume of advocating, the volume of organizing that happens on Twitter. And the only way for those people to push back is to then own the platform. They already own the news, they already own the TV, the newspapers, everything. And so they are now looking to own the last, it feels like they're trying to get the last line, the last bulwark against their total domination. They're not going to win. They're not going to win. We will find a way. The little people will find a way. Our ancestors did not fight to be free from slavery for us to just give ourselves up to the oligarchy of the villains of the world. No. Okay? No. So, y'all, what has happened yesterday, y'all? So we've come to that place where it's like, this is what I wanted to talk about, right? This is what I wanted to talk about, where we are, what's happening, and all of that stuff, right? I wanted to talk a little bit more about misinformation, the global climate, but it doesn't really matter so much. But it's been half an hour and I've been talking nonstop, and this is where we are, right? So where we are is we know Elon is trash. He ain't shit. He tried to buy Twitter. People left. People are going to fight him. People are going to fight. I really believe that people are going to fight to keep Twitter as much as it is right now, to keep to the ideals of free information, of organizing, advocating, and all of that stuff. And if anything, to just make it harder for them to shut off that valve, that free flow of information. People are going to fight for that, and we'll find another platform. I mean, we've lost platforms before. Tumblr died, MySpace died, Space Hay is up, so you can check out Space Hay and see um if that could be an option for you. um um I'm on both Space Hay and Fanbase, and that's neither here nor there. It's just overwhelming. It's too much for me. It's really too much for me. um so I think that people are dedicated to push back, but what smarter people than me know is that shady stuff has been happening ever since this was announced yesterday. Yes, people said they were leaving Twitter and deactivating their account, etc., etc. But y'all, if you're not familiar with Bot Sentinel, look it up. I already told y'all on this channel, we're not spoon feeding people information. Google is free. You can use it any day. I am not doing labor um, that I don't feel like doing for things that you can look up and learn for yourself. So, hold on. Here we go. We go over here. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, actually, let's make it way bigger so I can read the screen. So people much smarter than me also realized, like everybody was saying, they were losing accounts and stuff like that, right? So check out Bot Sentinel. They're amazing. Christopher Boozy is the owner. So basically, every day there's like a bunch of um Bot Sentinel has a bunch of accounts that they flagged as disruptive and full of misinformation, etc., etc. And they check them every day to see if they're still up, if they've deactivated, been suspended, whatever. So what they found out is that since yesterday, a lot more than normal have been deactivated. They almost 700% increase. Excuse me. So based on that, it seems like between 500,000 to 750,000 accounts were deactivated or suspended between yesterday and today. But it's like, did people deactivate their account, or did Twitter suspend them? Did Twitter deactivate their account? We don't know, right? So that's one thing that happens, right? But the other interesting thing that happened was, for some reason, people on the right increased followers while people on the left decreased followers. Now, some people were saying they found out they're not following people they were following before. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Okay. But how is it that Ron DeSantis gained over almost 1 million followers in one day? And yo, when you check those million followers, a lot of them were created today and yesterday. I don't have the tweet for that. Y'all can go find it on Twitter yourself. I already told y'all, don't expect people to spoon feed y'all information. That's how you get tricked by misinformation. When you expect people to spoon feed you information, go look it up for yourself. Make sure the source is reputable. Find it, whatever. So, anyways, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, almost 1 million followers in 24 hours. A good portion of them were made in the last 24 hours. The accounts were made in the last 24 hours. Like, how? So, how? Why? Like, this is fishy, right? Even when you look at stations, MSNBC lost people. The hosts of the people that work at MSNBC lost people. The people that work at Fox News gained people. Like, they'd want you to think that leftists are leaving the platform and people from the right are flocking to Twitter, but it is fishy. It is fishy, right? And is all of this part of the manipulation that they want to happen. That's why I tell you, Elon Musk is not in this alone. It's not just Elon Musk by himself. I don't want to push conspiracy theories, but obviously he's just the agent. Has someone checked Elon Musk's birth certificate? Was Elon Musk born in Russia or to Russian parents? Who's asking that? Who's asking that? Let's just be like QAnon and be like, we're just asking. We're just asking. And it's not just the US, y'all. Jair Bolsonaro, I think he's Brazilian. Prime minister or president or whatever. 4,500 followers in one day. How many of those are new accounts? So the thing is, information can be manipulated, and it can be manipulated on a large scale to where we don't even know who to trust or what to trust. And when we're in that state of anxiety, it's easier to oppress us and to take our rights away. And to keep us poor and uneducated is how they control us. And y'all, it's been 42 minutes. I'm going to wrap up. I think I've said all I want to say on the topic right now. I just want to tell everybody to be aware and stay informed, because they run psyops on all of us in 2015, 2016. Not just in the US elections, but also Brexit and a lot of the elections in Europe. Learn about Hungary. Look it up. Learn about it. They run a lot on Facebook. Since COVID-19 started, misinformation has been rampant. Not just on YouTube, not just on Facebook, on those social media, but on messaging sites like WhatsApp. Okay? On WhatsApp, videos get shown around and around and around, and people believe it. A lot of people believe everything they see on Facebook and WhatsApp is true still now. If you have senior citizens in your life, you should be talking to them about these things, because they believe what they see online. And so that happened, and they know that it works. They know that it works. And a lot of people are determined to put Trump back in power, because through all of those misinformation, it's how the wealthiest got so wealthy. Like, let's not lose track of the fact that is because of misinformation, the wealthy people got so wealthy that they're able to do stuff like that, while the rest of us got poorer and poorer and saw wealth evaporate. We saw more people go downwardly mobile, more people lose their homes. It's so hard to buy a house right now. And they know that misinformation works. And they know that websites like Twitter, basically Twitter, is the front lines of democracy. It's the front lines of the fight against misinformation. And don't lose sight of the fact that there's this Elon Musk buying Twitter is part of a two-pronged attack. The first immediate attack is to make left-leaning people leave the site, which again, we do not judge people for. They have to protect their mental health and their peace. But the short term, make people leave. And the long term is to completely have total control to manipulate the information that people receive. So you manipulate their reality and you can control them. And we can already see the manipulation starting to happen. So don't lose hope, y'all. Don't lose hope. We'll find a way. But anyways, y'all, let me know in the comments. And I see the chat basically died because I was ignoring it, which is fine. But y'all, we're about to wrap up. So let me know in the comments what you think. No hate, no calling people names. I don't have time for that. If you'll start to misbehave in the comments, I will just turn it off, okay? But let me know how y'all think about it. Let me know if y'all are leaving Twitter. Let me know what places y'all are going to. And I'm gonna be here screaming into the void to the 3 people and the 2 people and the 1 person that listens to me. um and hoping that we will continue to progress. Never lose sight of the fact that through all of this oppression, the reason why they're doing all of this and risking everything to continue to hold on to their oppression is because we have been making progress. If we were not making progress, they would not be fighting so hard. So that is our cue to not give up. Y'all, thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. I'll be back whenever, I don't know. And I'll see y'all soon, y'all. Take care of yourselves. Hydrate, eat, and make sure y'all tell those you love that you love them. And I will see y'all soon. Bye, everybody.